after spring selling season, after tax time, is repo season. Well, I know what you're saying, Brandon. Okay, in the car market, there's a spring selling season, there's a tax season, now there's a repo season. Yep, and they all connect to each other. So I'm a used car dealer, and I sell cars that are $5,000 and under, and lately, my car dealership has gone through a lot of changes. All right, so here are all the cars that we just had cleaned up. I'll show you. We got shiny wheels, everything looks all neat and good right now, and they're ready to be posted, except for this one. And I don't know if a lot of you have noticed the types of cars that I've had here at my dealership, but we have a lot of Subarus right now. We have a lot of Jeeps that are actually on our lot. Jeeps are not my favorite, and you know, if you've been watching our channel, you know that Jeeps are not my favorite thing to buy and to sell, but we have certain cars at tax time that sell better than any other cars, and those are typically like Honda Accords. Jeeps, for whatever reason, we sell Tommy. I got Jeep Liberties, Jeep Patriots, Jeep Compass that are in here. We got one Jeep Renegade that's up there on the hill. Jeeps sell very, very, very well during tax time, so we like to have them. Another thing that we try to find is I got a Ford Expedition that's pulled in right here. Our third row vehicles. We have families that get tax refund checks back, and a lot of those families, they need family vehicles. So we like to try to have around this time more third row SUVs. They sell better than minivans, but also minivans. So we sell both of those very, very well. So Honda Odysseys, Toyota Siennas. I've got a Chrysler Town. I don't know if you can see it there. I got a Chrysler Town and Country that's sitting up there. We've got another Ford Explorer that's got a third row seat. We sold a Honda Pilot yesterday that had a third row seat in it. These are the types of vehicles that are going to move the quickest during this time of year, because who's getting money back? Well, it's big families. That's where the bulk of the money comes from people buying cars this time of year. And big families, they be big vehicles, so we try to have them here for them. We have a lot of people that have cash in their pockets right now, and maybe they don't have enough money to come buy a $3,000 or $4,000 car from me, but they got $1,200 bucks, they got $1,500. And while they can't buy a car from me and own the full car, they'll go to a buy here, pay here lot. They'll put $1,000 down, and they'll think, okay, well, I can pay that $500 a month car payment on this vehicle. And it only happens to where, okay, it's 30 days later, 60 days later, where that customer's like, nah, I bit off more than I can chew. I can't pay for it, so they just stop paying for it. So then comes, okay, repo season. And a lot of these buy here, pay here dealers who sell tons and tons of cars through tax refund season to these people, these tax time ballers that have that $1,000 and they think the money's never going to run out. Well, those are the ones that get their cars repoed because they realize really quickly they're not going to be able to pay it. They stop paying for the cars, and in some cases, they even call the dealer that they bought it from, say, "Look, I'm not going to make these payments anymore. You can come pick it up." In some cases, the buyer actually tries to hide the car, and in a lot of cases, you'll have these buyers that keep the car for 3 months, and they'll actually dog out the car. And you can see, I'll show you images right here of some actual repos at auction. This is what repo cars look like. So those dealers, this is the nightmare that comes into play. Yeah, they'll sell a lot of cars, and they'll put a lot of money on the road and a lot of loans. But there's going to be a lot of loss that actually that happens for a lot of these dealers from these customers that make the initial down payment and never make a payment ever again. And yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, the dealer can just go pick up the car and sell it again. But in a lot of those cases, if the car gets dogged out, if the customer is just a nasty person and they make the car filthy, it can get to the point where the car is so filthy that there's no amount of cleaning that can be done to make that car where it can actually be sold again. So that's another situation that happens, and a big time nightmare for a lot of these dealers that are buy here, pay here dealers that write their own loans, that carry their own notes, where they just sell a lot of cars, and then a lot of them, they're just going to take insta L's on them, insta losses, because the customer just treats the car so poorly and then never comes through on the payments. I will say one big downside to us being so busy during tax time, and you've probably noticed it if you watch our channel quite a bit, but it's very difficult for me to put a lot of time into YouTube. So you've probably seen that we've put almost very few videos out, but I promise once we get through this and get rid of most of our cars, I'll be back on it, and we'll be back out to on our all 3 channels that we have running right now. We'll have at least probably three videos come out every single week, and we might even try to get some car sense videos out. And I know me and Ray, for those of you who don't know, me and Ray from Car Edge, we used to do a video every single week, and then we got away from it because the same day that we would record is the day that I had to start picking up an auction. So we might get back to that a little bit. I know I've talked to Ray a little bit, and we know that after I'm through all this craziness, we're going to try to start recording. It's probably not going to look the same as what it did look, but I miss the conversation. So this is me venting right now. We're very busy, and when you, as a business owner, even just as a man, as a human being, when you say yes to something, it often means that you're saying no to something else. So with me saying yes and yes and yes more often over here at our car dealership, and filling in the gaps over there and trying to help them out when they're so busy, it means that I'm going to be saying no to YouTube quite a bit. But all that should change hopefully in the next 2 weeks or so. We got to get wheel covers. I actually love buying cars just like this at auction that don't have just the hubcaps on them, because this car looks not good. Like the appearance of the car is not great because it just shows the black rims on it. And actually, dealers will not buy this kind of car, so it would be cheaper just because it doesn't have a $30 or $40 set of hubcaps not on it. So I love looking out for cars just like this Cam right here that goes to the auction. We'll get it a little bit cheaper. We'll get it for hundreds of dollars cheaper just because it doesn't have the $30 hubcaps on it. So that's one thing that I look out for at auction. I know that if it's a car that's a little bit out of our reach usually to be able to buy to sell at that $5,000 and under range, well, it might slip into my amount that I'm able to pay for that car just because aesthetically it's not appealing to some dealers. So if 2 or 3 dealers drop off of it that would have bid on it, well, that equates to hundreds of dollars less of what it's going to go for at auction, and that's a good example of it. One thing I will say that does become very frustrating for us here at my car dealership is that if we do have a really good tax season, all that's well and good, but we might end or move through our inventory a lot quicker than what we anticipate, and then we go through weeks where we just have 5 to 10 cars on our car dealership, and we really don't sell very much whenever we only have that amount of vehicles, because the prices that they spike at auction, I'm not going to pay it. And in a lot of cases I can't, because if I'm going to be the car dealer that sells cars that are $5,000 and under, and some of these vehicles are going for double what they were. I'll give you an example. I went to an auction yesterday morning, and a 2010 Ford Edge with like 180-something thousand miles, something that I usually am able to buy for like $2,200 to $2,500. I'm able to sell it here in my lot for anywhere between $35,000 and $4,000. Well, that went for $3,900 at the auction. Absolutely insane. And this is what happens across the market. So obviously I can't buy that car and be able to sell it for $5,000 and under here at my dealership. So I'm just going to be hands off. And what ends up happening is myself and Alex, who is my mechanic and buys a lot of cars for me, what we do is we're just going to skip auctions for probably 2 to 3 weeks. Now we'll check out some auctions here and there to see if the prices are starting to come down a little bit, but it can be very, very frustrating for me and him because we might go to the auction, we might spend 3 hours checking out cars and then actually trying to bid on them, and we get 0 cars. And this happens at multiple auctions because of prices. Prices just get absolutely crazy during this time. And in a lot of cases, we do really well tax season, February, March, our numbers are fantastic. And then in April, we don't even make what it costs to run my business during that month. In a lot of cases, we'll end up losing money. I'm expecting that, but we have to stock up enough now. We have to make enough money now to be able to cover us for that next month. And then after that, we're back to the races, and we're able to make money again. But we just know that month's going to be very weak, and it's going to be very frustrating as far as buying, because there's going to be a lot of situations we go to the auction and we just can't buy cars. And that's a lot of time that's wasted, a lot of energy that's wasted. Auctions, auctions take a lot of time and are very sweaty. And they even during the springtime, we're on asphalt. So even if it's 75, 80 degrees here in North Carolina, which is what we experience during those times, going to these auctions is it gets really hot. And this it's not a fun place to be if you're not able to buy cars. If you go to auction and you're able to buy a lot of cars, very fun, but not if you're not buying cars.